Yeah. I named it, okay.
Thank you, guys. Who's over 62 years old? Okay. Senate Bill 190, I know you guys have probably heard all kinds of things. Basically, what it's gonna do is gonna freeze your property taxes on one property, on your homestead, here in Link. You can only claim one, which would be your, Mr. Green, our county attorney, Teresa Murray, myself, several other people. When we started out, the commission, I better start with them. They wanted to pass an ordinance to get the rules in place from the legislation that came down from Jeff City, which was, we looked at it and probably other people, it was wild. And it was like crazy. We didn't know what to do. So they came up with the ordinance. I don't know, has anybody seen this ordinance on the website? It'll be available. It's basically freezing your property taxes to August 28th. Everybody that's 62 years old, you're basically gonna qualify. Everybody in town. And it freezes levies, school levies, everything. So, and I'm not picking on Camden tonight, just have, I know what happened. When they raised their 9 cents this year, okay. Next year, if they want to do it again, that's fine, they can. But for all of you that are 62 years old, yours isn't going to go up to 9 cents, it's going to stay as of August 28th. Of this year. Yeah. Now, the biggest thing was we had to get an application, some type of application, for you to fill out so that you can basically prove yourself. And sit down, it's fairly simple. You're gonna have to go through this though every year. We're gonna flag you. And keep you in the system as a ST 190 candidate. But you may sell your house, you know, if you change properties, any of that can change your status as far as what your tax bill is going to be. Your house, your tax bill is $1,000 this year, and you stay for 5 years, and you sell your house and you buy a $1 million lake house.
So this is being recorded, so my taxes are $1,000 this year?
Well. This house. Yeah, it's the application process. Name of applicant, individual under entity, your property address. It asks some questions, but your proof of Missouri residency is going to be your voter registration card, government check, homeowner's insurance policy, driver's license, any other government issued ID. Proof of ownership, a deed, any type of information like that. There may be some other things. The nice thing with this, we can change it. If we find out that we're doing something, we're trying not to gather any more information, personal information than we have. But there's going to be people from other places probably apply. There's going to, I don't know how it's going to happen, but someone is probably going to try to push the deal that they get a property freeze credit here and somewhere else in the state. We know that's probably not happening. And we're just trying to keep that at bay. So, you know, again, we're gonna freeze it and all all the folks that are 62, it will retroact back to August 28th of this year. Now, you don't turn 62 until after January 1st. Then you're going to wait until next January 1st.
So what happens if you've got a partnership couple on one turns 62, both are deeded onto the house, onto the property, and they want to use, and one is 62 and the other is not?
That the person that's 62 needs to apply. As long as you can show that you have the interest in.
Marty, is there a age limit, like for like senior living things? So, yeah, well, I mean, my dad's gonna be 85 next year, but, you know. Is it just gonna be, so like, dad can fill out that application and get it turned in? I didn't know if it was an age limit for older seniors.
Oh, no, there's no,
Okay,
62 and older.
okay,
As long now, in saying all this, now we've worked pretty hard at this, working and putting this together. As long as legislation doesn't change something. I don't think they will. They keep saying they're really not concerned about it. We passed it, you guys do. So Camden County did. I mean, some people say, well, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. You know, they jumped out ahead of it. They made it fairly easy for everybody in this county that's 62 years old. School teachers, railroad workers, I think it's federal government employees, retired. See, they're not eligible for Social Security. Well, it said you had to be Social Security eligible. Oh, yeah, so it left that group of people basically out, starting. Said, Camden County said, you're 62 years older, that's it. Well, yes.
I have a question, Lisa, I have our house on a parcel number. And then we've got additional property around that, and we don't pay much tax on the other part. But is it just on the house or is it on the adjoining property?
It will be on the parcel that the house sits.
Okay.
You know, I'm sure there's gonna be some angles at this that people are gonna do it, and you know. There's nothing saying that you can't put a parcel that your home sets on. But some of us may have parcels with a home that sets on 250 acres, maybe one parcel. Or you may have a parcel of just 5 acres and you split it off and your other 200 acres. It's split off from that, so that 200 acres is not going to be frozen, it's your home.
So somebody replats it as in one
Parcel.
Yep.
Oh, hey, there's gonna be some. There's gonna be some games going on here. Yes, sir.
Is there a penalty baked in?
Yes.
In the event, let's say you live in Illinois. And you get the same benefit there and you don't disclose it here.
Right. There is.
Okay, benefits.
Is there any benefits to living in Illinois?
But I've lived there now for 70 and a half years. I haven't found one.
The ground is flat and it's no rocks.
The weather is cold and our tanks are hot. I like to do
The half year.
There is, Jeff put in penalty phases. Oh, I picked that. Oh, yeah, it is. It states on there that we'll prosecute you. Basically. I don't know how far that would go, but what we can do is, I think he's gave me the power to be able to reject your application process. Yeah, which could lead to other things, but if we can reject your application and not let you.
You know, at the Home Depot, there's a sign that says we prosecute chocolate, so it's true.
Permanent residence now, as opposed to secondary.
Well, yes, I'm sorry, it is permanent residence, so for all, and we are all thinking the same thing. People from out of state, all the lake homes, and now it's not just lake homes, it's farms out. It's rural too. People have come in to the lake area, bought farms, different things, that's not their permanent homes. The folks from out of state or other areas, it has to be their permanent home. They're gonna have to be a permanent resident in Canyon County. And that's part of the process, the application process. They're gonna have to vote here, they're gonna have to somehow prove to us that this is their permanent residence.
So you said it goes back to August 28th. And the tax bills are out now. So is it based on the assessment this year?
Yes,
So the tax bills are correct.
yes,
So anybody who does it will actually have that tax bill.
yeah, it's on that assessed value and those levies. I technically don't get too involved in calculation of it. Technically, I'm not quite as bad as some of the other assessors. They don't even allow the word taxes in their office. If any citizen says taxes, you need to talk to them. Not in my office. And there's some of them there, I mean, they will not even discuss it about the amount. Come on, in my office, what happens causes that amount to be on that piece of paper. So you take the assessed value, you take the levies, here you get the dollar figure, so. I don't mind talking about it, but, yeah, so, yes, sir.
So in your example, when Ron levels his house, when he sells or when he buys, then it just takes the current assessment that you have for that and that relocks it in.
Yes, relocks it. It will take, yeah, he sells his house and he goes and buys a $10 million house. For 2,000 years, yeah.
What if he takes his house, expands it? That trigger anything?
It does. 50% increase in your assessed value. Okay, if your home, he decides to rebuild it. And he's gonna add on all this new area. Now, we come in and assess, we still have to do what we want to do. So they come in and they reassess it, and you double the size of your home. And we reassess it, and that number goes up 30%, then you'll be assessing that amount. That will trigger a change in assessment.
They go on that, you lose your house to a fire. Rebuild it.
This is the real tricky thing. That's one of the things, and I don't know that Mr. Green addressed that in this, because we talked about it. And we also have talked about, I think everyone sitting in this room knows that we cannot continue probably down the path that we're going right now. Something's gonna happen. Probably not good, but the housing market, this, your assessment's not gonna be back. But it goes down, if it crashes, which I hope, we all hope that it does not happen. I asked the question, if I lower the assessment, I froze it here. Do I lower your assessment? Not really. It's froze. So. Withdraw the application. Yeah, guys, I think everyone sitting in this room, the people here, understand that we're probably a little under assessed anyway, so it's going to have to get improved. I've lived here 53 years. Not every bad thing that doesn't come to Lake and goes up, just don't seem to stay as long as it does. I think Mr. Skelton said that last night on the radio, I agree with it. Is, yeah, it hits here, but it just doesn't seem, 08, 09. I was in private business at that time, and it was bad. But it didn't stay as long. It didn't stay as long as what it did in other areas of other people that I knew in different locations with the same businesses I had. It seemed like it just stayed there and we were back in business and going back, so. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna lower your values. You're froze there, so. Changing homes will change your value. If you add a bunch of stuff to your home and it goes up 50%, you gotta remember too, we don't come inside your home. So for folks that are thinking about, I don't know if you remodel. I don't know if you remodel the kitchen. I know what it's going in.
There's a shooting gallery.
You know, and I'm sorry, I have a problem with taxing you, which I shouldn't be using the word taxes, but we're not assessing that. And you're being taxed on a gain that you may never receive. I have a problem with that. I'm sorry, I get voted in every 4 years, so, and out every 4 years. And that's something that I believed in when I came into office, and, you know, a lot of you guys probably lived in the same homes, you know, for, I think most people here has been here for a while. You may never receive that gain. So, and eventually things will go up, levies go up, but for the folks that are 62, you can almost guarantee that, in Camden's R3 does a great job. They had to raise their levy in how many years? All around. I think it was long, but I think it was the same when I was in high school. So it's been a long time. Camden hasn't, and our fire departments too. I mean, we do have some levy increases, but they're, I believe they're fair. They're very fair. Yeah, and more questions. It's fairly simple. It's really simple. There's no age, anyone. Now, we're not going to retroact back. Like, there's some counties that are going to get themselves in financial problems. Because the way because what they want to do is go back to when you turn, Grant Richards turned 62 years old. So I love Grant. We come to watch me play football. No, really. And you need to pay these people back.
I think we should, because it needs to be a static date.
Yeah, if you want to read
I'll do that.
this legislation, the way you read it, the way you could. And it was like, whoa, you can't. Yeah, you take a little lady that's 100 years old and you need to retro back 45 years, first off. We have the records to show.
So on the application, since the assessment, you always have to do those, the applications get processed at the collector's office and.
We're gonna process
You're doing it.
the assessors.
And then, so from a due diligence of, you know, validating, this is primary residence, or you from out of state, are you gonna be doing any digging on those, or are you just taking the face value?
Well, we'll dig it, because I have access to. The recorder's office, I have all the access to all the deeds. I practically have access to. Department of Revenue.
But we can give you a copy of our deed or just.
Probably just book the page. You know, and that's gonna be, at first, it's gonna be a little cumbersome, we're not 100% sure. We made an application when we fill that out, but we can go through.
Let's just have a spring call. Scary. What about if the title is in the trust instead? In the trust, why?
It's in a trust, we need a C where you have that, where you personally have that.
Sure, trust. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and that was a big thing, because down here, CDD, which I have, there's a lot of trusts, and you guys have seen that, so somehow you need to prove to us where you, that you have.
So that affect the trust word.
So this. Yeah. Yes, sorry, oh. Actually, I'm thinking I'll probably be talking about it. There's probably no comparison. We're probably gonna become some there's one.
Tavern and Trail Center.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm gonna get well acquainted with every third unit.
Yeah, don't mean them.
I was just curious also if you would be tracking like what you're not collecting in terms of what the savings
That-
are, or what the difference.
I hate to say this, that's not my job, that's float.
Does
And if-
does the county intend to keep track of that?
Yes, we have to, because we have to claim it as, and I didn't get too involved in this part. We have to, I think the county has to, and the entities have to claim that, basically as in revenue. Of what it is, because on your tax bill, what it's supposed to look like. Is you're gonna see your frozen. And what it should. Now, if I go around every year and I raise all your property taxes 10-15%. Then you would see this credit. You gotta remember, if I don't raise your assessed value. It's just gonna say $1,000. It's not a credit. But now, if any tax levies, any increases in the valuation, any of that type of stuff, then you'll see that already. On your tax.
So every year that'll be there, so.
Yes, that's the part I don't actually can. You have software, she has software. The Hunter Group does all their programming, software and stuff in the collector's office, and he already has this stuff in the works.
So when someone wants to sell their property, even that year's tax savings should be able to say to the prospective buyer what their tax bill would be.
I would say doubtful.
I would say doubtful, because let's say the value has went up from, in 10 years, you've had this for 10 years, getting ready to sell it. That's gonna have to be checked. It needs to be, there probably needs to be a phone call.
Yeah, I think you probably should get in touch with the local real estate boards,
Yes.
because they're gonna need to disclose tax prorations on properties that are owned by 62.
Well, there could be a big difference, there could be a difference between where it is and what it's gonna be, just when you sign that document.
Yeah, 'cause when you close, you do a tax proration and you're getting credit for the whole year. But you close in November, you get 11-month credit, and then in December, your bill is 25 to 30% higher.
Exactly.
And then in February, they got an adjustment on their mortgage bill, and they yell at me, screwing up their goddamn mortgage.
Well, after they yell at me, after they yell at you, then they turn around and yell at me. I just tell them, hey, that's not like a hill, it's the same thing. You need to follow it. No, yeah, you're right. It's, there's gonna be things like that we have not thought of. Now, the nice thing about the ordinance is with an ordinance, if we see a major problem, Everyone sitting at the table up in that courthouse is 100% in this. There was nobody said, you know what, we probably shouldn't do this. We might not should do this, do that. So everybody was on board and in doing it, the commission and everything. So if we find a problem, we're probably gonna just up and fix it with an ordinance. We can do that with an ordinance if we put it on a ballot. That's not. If you don't agree with it, you come up to my office and scream at me about it. And we can fix it. If it's on a ballot, you get mad all you want to, but we have to put it back on the ballot, to try to change something. I don't know how long that takes, so. But we are gonna take the application process in the assessor's office. And if you all don't know, we now have two locations. We have the location across the street at the old MU extension. And you can also come into the courthouse on still at the second floor. And you can drop them off.
Would you be, do you have these applications online?
Yeah, I'm going at that.
Once we approve it, which is coming here, we're gonna try to have it right at the front of the year. And there'll be some type of big, we're gonna try, and even if I have to spend. I may even get a list. And I may just have them made.
Can't you put it on the tax?
Well, that was. Yeah, that takes some cooperation between several offices. It'd be a lot. It would be maybe a lot simpler if folks can finance, take their taxpayer money and into a mailing and send it out for the first time. That way everybody knows. Now, I'm not going to do this for you every year. I'm not gonna waste your money. That's what we all know postage is very high. I try to get this mailing shop. But to get it out there and let everyone know, then it'll kind of be up on yourself to.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
All right, let's make sure.